Welcome to UCF's moment. The mayhem of game day. A massive turnout. Students seizing the national stage to make pointed statements. This morning belonged to the Knights. But now the main event. Quarterback Mackenzie Milton and the winners of 22 straight, still battling for respect, face the season's toughest test so far. The challengers from Cincinnati. Michael Warren runs angry, carries a chip. He and the BearCats have climbed from the depths to 9-1 and look ready to stake their claim to a conference crown. Inside UCF's rowdy bounce house, the American Conference Game of the Season coming up. In East Orlando with Florida's Space Coast in sight, welcome to UCF's on-campus stadium and welcome to Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. And tonight's game between the Cincinnati BearCats and the undefeated 11th-ranked Knights of UCF, the biggest game all season in the American Conference from the home of the self-proclaimed 2017 national champions. A marketing move that certainly stirred up the college football world. Welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor will join us. This environment is hyped, and we know most of you folks are probably seeing these teams for the first time this season. You want to see what's UCF about. Do they belong in this playoff conversation? They have a chance to make a strong case tonight.
Well, after what they did last year and it culminating with a win over Auburn in a big bowl game, they're undefeated again. And so there are people out there that are probably saying, what's the fuss? And this is the stage that UCF has wanted. They're playing a great opponent in Luke Fickell's UC BearCats. Let's get it on. Let's see what happens.
Josh Heupel will have his team playing at hyper speed. He can do that because Mackenzie Milton is such a strong quarterback. The Hawaiian putting up massive numbers again this year.
One of the better dual threat quarterbacks, and I think he's really adjusted well to Josh Heupel's scheme. You know, last year when Scott Frost was here, it was kind of the old Oregon offense with Chip Kelly. Now it reminds me really of the old Baylor offense with Art Briles. See how they spread you out sideline to sideline. They kind of force you to make a decision on the safeties. This time the safety comes down to help against the run. Mackenzie Milton recognizes that. And look at all that space they create for the vertical passing game. Beautiful throw there to Stetson for a touchdown. The other thing that they do a good job of is they stretch you. You can also run the ball. This time the safety says, you know what, I got to get back. I can't afford to be able to get beat deep. No problem. Mackenzie Milton feels that he has a great group of backs. You'll see Killens, number 9 tonight. Here is Greg McCray, who's come on really these last 2 weeks. Can see all the space that these formations create. And when you mix in tempo, which you'll see tonight, which we'll have some fun with, and the speed around a veteran quarterback, it makes this offense one of the toughest ones to stop in the country.
They say that contrasting styles make fights. Since he's a different style of football team, you got Luke Fickell, the former Ohio State defensive lineman and coach. He brings a tough Midwestern style. They stop the run, and they love to run it downhill at you.
You know, he coached obviously with Jim Tressel, and when you watch their brand of football, it reminds you of some of those Ohio State teams because they are physical. They are aggressive on defense. They win special teams, and they can run the football. And Michael Warren tonight, if UC's going to win this game, Michael Warren's going to have to play really well. And the reason is not he runs angry and runs with an attitude, but also if he has success, it opens up their play-action pass game, and then they can try to work the clock and keep Mackenzie Milton and all that speed on the sideline.
It's kind of a young team. They're not used to playing, hostile building with a lot of energy. How will Cincinnati respond? Because I promise you, the Knights are raring to go tonight. The Knights, led by Josh Heupel, former championship quarterback at Oklahoma, 9-0 in his first season as a head coach. He's with Maria Taylor.
All right, Coach, your day started with the excitement of College Game Day. We just saw the emotions of senior night. How do you have this team focused for the task?
I told them in the locker room, let's just be us, compete as hard as we can for 60 minutes, and enjoy the moment.
What do you think the statement is that this team can make tonight?
Listen, we're just trying to win a divisional title tonight. We're going to go out and play hard for 60 minutes.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Josh sounds ready, Kirk. It's an interesting thing to take over for Scott Frost, who had a perfect season, and put your stamp on it, but also don't fix what wasn't broken. It takes a guy that has his ego in check.
Done obviously a really good job doing it his way with his own style, and it's working.
And the bounce house is jumping. Knights won the toss and deferred. So Alden Knight and Jamal Wiggins back deep to receive the kickoff of Matthew Wright. And the pumped up kicker drives it deep into the end zone. So here comes the Bearcats offense. They get Garrett Campbell, their 6th-year senior starter, back after missing 5 games. That is huge in this environment tonight.
Yeah, makes all the calls. Broke his ankle just, like you said, 4 or 5 weeks ago. The fact he's back is remarkable. We talked a lot about Warren Lewis, number 1, their most explosive receiver, but also Medeiros has to do a good job. They're going to see a lot of man-to-man tonight. Can these receivers win on the outside once they establish that run, the play-action pass game, and explosives? A big part of what they need to do to be able to pull off an upset.
Desmond Ritter is a redshirt freshman from Louisville, a dual threat quarterback who took over the job in the 3rd series of the season and entered a comeback victory at UCLA. Ritter from the pocket, pressure, delivers a throw over the middle, and catch is made at the 29-yard line by Khalil Lewis, the top receiver on this Bearcats team.
Nice job by Ritter stepping up, and I still think a UCF defender got his hands on the ball. I think it was Hayes, number 6.
After review, the ball hit the ground, therefore it is an incomplete pass.
Kataya is 1 for 1.
Well, and give, as I said, Brendan Hayes, number 6, who plays very hard as a defensive end, some credit there. He got in, didn't get the sack, but affected the throw by Ritter and the ball ultimately, because he had a wide open man, Lewis, coming across the middle.
Hayes, who wears number 6 to honor the 6th ward of New Orleans, his hometown, the area hit so hard years ago by Katrina. 2nd and 20. Warren goes in motion. Ritter looked that direction, but it's a keeper all the way, and he slides down, takes a big shot. He'll spot it at the 23. A.J. Wooten was there.
Luke Fickell jumped onto the field there because of the way his quarterback went down. But I think he slipped more than being hit, as he was deemed a defenseless player once he went down.
Ritter has gained at 640 yards rushing this year. He's a long strider. He can get out and cover yards in a hurry when he gets space. 3rd and 12. Ritter has a clean pocket and now tries to scramble for the 1st down, chased by Jasinski, and there he is. It's a run to move the sticks out to the 39.
You got man-to-man across the board, except Jasinski right here. He's spying, but he gets out of position. You mentioned, Chris, that Ritter is a long strider. You can see uses that speed with everybody in man-to-man, with the exception of Jasinski. He's able to pick up the 1st down. Remember, they started 1st and 20, and they pick up the 1st down. Big-time job by Ritter and the Bearcats.
He got 15 on that 3rd and 12. Ritter lost a close competition to the returning senior Hayden Moore, but took over the job in the opener, coming back to beat UCLA. The offense is keyed around Warren. We talked about him in the open. They call him the truck. 218 pounds, but runs bigger than that.
Sure does, and they're going to have a big night from him. Ideally, UC, they want to run the football to set up Ritter off the play action. They want to get those linebackers and safeties concerned about the powerful Warren running that ball. Runs angry.
Warren, who turned 20 on Monday, owns the single-season touchdown record at UC with 18 of them, 17 on the ground. Second and 8. Ritter fires far side. It's a back shoulder catch by Lewis, and another 1st down in UCF territory.
I'll tell you, somebody forgot to tell Ritter he's a freshman. All this hostility, all this noise, he looks like he's been out there his whole life. Looks very calm. Perfectly thrown football. Great adjustment by the receiver to come back to the ball. The timing perfect there with Ritter, the young quarterback, and Lewis coming back to make that catch, and all of a sudden the Bearcats are across midfield.
Different look now with Warren, the tailback, split out, and now he'll motion back in. Warren hit in the backfield, fights back to the line of scrimmage, but that was Jasinski with quick penetration.
This defense is determined to take away Warren. We keep talking about him. Watch him shoot. I mean, he's not waiting. He is not hesitating at all. They got the same scouting report that you and I have, and Randy Shannon, their defensive coordinator, remember him, of course, years and years with the Miami Hurricanes as a head coach and defensive coordinator, saying they are not going to run the football on us tonight, at least here early. That's what they're trying to eliminate.
2nd and 10 keeper. They'll continue to hammer with that running game with patience, though.
They sure will. And they're going to have to, it may be one of these games you have to actually throw to set up the run because of the way UCF is committing to the line of scrimmage on 1st and 2nd down. Early down pass may become a factor because Ritter is throwing the ball in rhythm and looks to be pretty confident.
Been a pretty good offense on 3rd and long this season. They need 9. Warren to the far left of the formation.
See the tight man-to-man coverage there by UCF.
Showing pressure.
Falling out.
Pressure hit as he throws, and it's a high over the head of Lewis. That was Jasinski on the blitz. 4th down.
He's very fortunate that he got home. UCF rolled the dice with him coming through here, but watch how Lewis works across the middle of the field. He's all alone. Nobody in the middle of the defense, and because Jasinski got in there so quickly, Ritter not able to set his feet and make an accurate throw.
You love the chess match. You bring the aggressive blitz, but if he's a split second later, it's a completion in a big game. So James Smith, the left-footed Aussie, one of the best in the world at doing this, kicking it high and deep. And UCF gets a hold from the defense, but will take over for their first offensive possession, pin back. UCF offensive line. Miller is the leader of the group. Kudanik also a senior. Good battle between these guys in that rugged defensive front for UC. And here's the speed you talked about in the open.
Yeah, Adrian Killens can fly. Number 9, Snelson 5. He'll be in the slot a lot of the times. Otis Anderson can play receiver and running back. And Chris, I know you've watched this game this week. I did as well. Last year it was a weather-shortened game, but 8 possessions, 7 touchdowns, and a field goal. UC didn't stop him once.
Milton on the first play from the end zone hit. Ball's out. In a scrum. BearCats have recovered it. Touchdown Cincinnati on UCF's first offensive play.
We just talked about last year, and this defense has been motivated all week. And they get the very first play. Fitz comes up with a sack, and it looked like Clements jumped on top of it for the touchdown. 2 veterans, 2 seniors step up here for this BearCats defense.
Yeah, Malik Clements came around. Blindside hit on Mackenzie, who didn't feel the pressure. Fitz credited with the touchdown recovery. We'll get another look at it. They're going to replay to see where exactly the ball was recovered, but that's very clear cut.
Yeah, Clements did come up with the hit. Blindside. Milton never felt him. Does a good job knocking the ball loose, and 51 Fitz jumps on top of it for the BearCats touchdown.
And Cole Smith misses the conversion. Just his 2nd miss of the season, so Cincinnati's lead is still 6-0, but what a start. After the 2 penalties, they moved the ball long enough to flip field position, good punt, and then the strip sack and touchdown. That's the risk of this offense. You drop back, your quarterback sets up very first play in the end zone. Ryan Jones to kick it away. Talked about Adrian Killens. They're very small but very fast receiver. He'll have a chance at this return from the 10. Flag comes in. Killens still running. Another flag. He's loose. You can see the speed. You can see what a threat he is. This return is going to come back, but number 9 very dangerous with the football. Otis Anderson, who's a hybrid, excellent at running back and wide receiver. He's in the backfield. Milton play action, zips a high throw, incomplete. He was off the hands of Dredrick Snelson.
I thought Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati defense, and Luke Fickell made some interesting points to us this week. They said as much as you think about their speed and the quarterback Milton, end of the day, they still want to run the ball. We've got to take away that run game.
Play action again, and a miscommunication. Snelson was cutting inside. Milton threw it outside quickly. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
And part of the reason he had to get rid of that ball is Cincinnati bringing pressure, brought both their linebackers, got into the face there, and helped force Milton to have to throw that ball before he was ready.
Milton 0 for 3, and it's 3rd and 7. Has protection this time and flips it to Frederick Snelson for a first down. That's more like it.
And they'll go fast now. It's just sometimes for a quarterback as experienced as Milton, sometimes it just takes that one throw to kind of get you established.
Play action. And down the seam, and the catch is made by Snelson again. They found a matchup they like.
As the slot receivers are the most dangerous receivers, and if you've not seen UCF, this is them. They pick up a couple first downs. They're trained to get lined up quickly, and here they come again.
Milton is flushed and just flings it out of bounds. You can try to practice against this tempo. Freeman talked about it, but it's difficult when it's happening to you in person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're trying to make sure you get lined up right. I keep going back to the Baylor scheme. This offense reminds me so much of Baylor, not just the formations, but also the tempo and how they get you on your heels.
Well, Milton's pass numbers are way down. They've been relying much more on the running game this year compared to last. Almost 500 yards more rushing. But now it's Snelson who could not collect that. It was a low throw. Incomplete. And it's third down.
I mentioned Marcus Freeman. Maria mentioned Marcus Freeman. And Luke Fickell has a defensive background. And in fact, Marcus Freeman played for Luke Fickell at Ohio State when Luke was a defensive coordinator for the Buckeyes. And his last few years was at Purdue until he came over when Luke got that job. And really an up-and-coming star in the coaching profession.
A little more deliberate approach from UCF on this third down. Greg McCray, sophomore from Miami, is the tailback. And Milton has plenty of time against the three-man rush. All day to throw. Heaves it downfield, and it's caught inside the 10. McCray, the back, got downfield.
That's what happens when you rush 3 and drop 8. And you got a big linebacker one-on-one. He just got lost in coverage, and it's hard to cover him that long.
And the frenzy to line up. Milton thought about moving north and south to the end zone, but James Wiggins was in his path and knocks him down.
Wiggins was in man-to-man coverage, and he just rolled the dice. He felt that, hey, he's across the line. I'm going to go get him, and comes up with a big play. He was out there one-on-one with Snelson.
McCray. No, it's a keeper, and Mackenzie Milton scoots in for the touchdown. A very quick 79-yard touchdown drive in 9 plays.
Started off a little bit slow, and it was almost like once he hit that crossing route, they got that first down. It just ignited them, and they got into attack mode, which led them to this touchdown.
Matthew Wright makes his PAT. That's the difference so far, but you get a glimpse of this UCF high-powered offense after a slow start. They've seized a 1-point lead. Quarterback keeper, 9th rushing touchdown of the season for the Hawaiian. 15,000 wanted tickets. His first come, first serve. 46,000. That's the enrollment of Cincinnati. 68,000 for UCF. 2 massive schools here. McClellan knocked down across the 25-yard line. We use the word the brotherhood a lot in Cincinnati. And there's Warren bouncing off tacklers, and the man who was Ohio's Mr. Football in his senior year, Toledo Central Catholic, moves the 6.
Yeah, we've all, with all the fuss about UCF, us being excited to watch them, you and I, a lot of us here on our crew, we talked a lot about Michael Warren and how physical he is. And, you in Ohio, you win Mr. Football in 2016. There's a lot of big names you beat to win that.
Moves the ball to the 42. Now this time Ritter is going to be trapped. That's Joey Connors, the defensive tackle. Man, their guys inside can pressure.
Well, they also do a twist here that I think affects the communication. You'll see some movement here. See how they move the defensive end that time to the inside. Davis, I think that affected how they're communicating. Connors eventually gets free. That left side of the Cincinnati offensive line, we're going to have to get on the same page, because right now Randy Shannon finding a way to get through that left side to get pressure on Ritter.
It's a colorful group of misfits. They call themselves the Bash Brothers at UC offensive line. With their hands full so far. 2nd 14. It's a run, not much. Brendan Hayes plugged the hole, 3rd and long.
That formation that they use there might be one that you might see Cincinnati revisit. They had trips into the boundary and it put a lot of the defense down to the bottom of your screen. And if Ritter pulled that, he's running for 40 yards. Instead, he gives it to Warren, but I guarantee you, Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator of Cincinnati, will definitely want to revisit that where he may pull it.
Warren out and the speedy freshman Charles McClellan in the backfield. He leaks out. Ritter's flushed. Tries to run for it and is going to get the 1st down, and more knocked down inside the 25. You can see the long strider at it again.
Yeah, we saw him do this earlier. Look at the linebacker. Safety actually drops down, but he gets occupied with the receiver there. That's why he wasn't able to come in and fill in and try to be able to stop him from picking up those 1st down yards.
It's his 2nd long scramble on the 3rd long. Got 19 there.
Good awareness. Realizes it's man-to-man. There's a lot of room there. He just has to navigate the linebacker who's kind of sitting there in a spine. Outran him.
48 first quarter rushing yards for the quarterback. McClellan hit immediately and wrestled down. Quick penetration by Hayes.
Ferguson, the right tackle, Chris, you talked about how he hadn't played a down until this year. Watch how he gets beat to the inside. He took a step to the outside, and because they were blitzing Grant, the safety, the entire defensive line was slanting, and the right tackle, Ferguson, happened to just step to the right and opened up a huge gap hit that time for Davis to shoot through.
Warren returns. 2nd and 10. Ritter takes off, bumped into a lineman, and will be dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Cincinnati's getting beat up front. They are taking turns on who's getting beat, too. We've seen Ferguson get beat. This time it's Morgan James getting pushed back into the backfield. The left side with Boyd, Trout. They've had some issues up front.
A.J. Wooten made that play once again, 3rd and long. Final minute of the quarter.
So if you're Randy Shannon, you got to be thinking, all right, guys, we're covering them, but we've got to keep an eye on the quarterback who's killing us, taking off, running, and scrambling against our man-to-man.
Yeah, they've been hurt frequently by running quarterbacks this year. Ritter has space again, and now fires along the sidelines, and it's incomplete. Catch not made in bounds. Thomas Geddes, the receiver, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to his left, but I want you to watch the tight end work over the middle. This is an area that's been a problem for UCF's defense all year long. Look at that opening right there. He just doesn't see it. And again, he's getting pressure, but he's got to see that pre-snap, that there's a shot to be able to take that throw right over the middle. If there's a weakness at UCF's defense, it's over the middle behind the linebackers.
Now, Cole Smith has missed a PAT and a field goal out there again. UCF should be wary of a fake. It's a 41-yarder for the lead. It's blocked. And the Knights have a chance. They got a wall down the sidelines. Brandon Moore still running. Cuts it back and will be dropped inside the 25. Kicking game disaster for the BearCats in this first quarter.
I think Joey Connors, 91, got his hands on the football right in the middle. Watch 91. Right there, he gets his hands up, knocks that ball away. And a great heads-up play right in the middle. His right hand knocked that ball loose, and Moore, great job of being aware to pick that ball up and take off. He almost takes it all the way to the end zone.
Kind of a slow get off there. 1.45 seconds. So he took some turf on the kick. It was low. And UCF special teams have set them up at the 22.
He's now 5 of 12 on the year.
Yeah, hadn't made a thing tonight. 2 field goals and a PAT. Milton, his pass is deflected at the line. And Mackenzie, as brilliant as he is, Kirk, it might be a generous 5'10". They list him at 5'11". He's going to have passes batted down. He's a talented guy, throws it at all different angles.
Yeah, he sure does. He's figured out how to work around that, and I just love his competitive spirit. I mean, He reminds me, his spirit reminds me of Baker Mayfield from a year ago, Trace McSorley, that type of quarterback.
Good comparison. And he's a quick runner, bursts down to the 16-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. Well, Bearcats jumped in front. UCF answered, but the kicking game the difference. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. After the Connors block and a 60-yard return by Bam Moore. It's 3rd and 5 for UCF on the 17. Milton from the pocket, loops into the end zone, diving catch for a touchdown, Adrian Killens.
Well, they create a pick here or a rub with the outside wide receiver working to the middle. Gets in the way of the linebacker, White, who's in man-to-man. It's hard enough to stay with Killens to begin with. But now you got to navigate and get around traffic to try to run with him. Well designed by Josh Heupel. Perfectly executed and a nice throw.
For Killens, his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Milton's 23rd consecutive game with a touchdown pass.
As if missing a couple field goals isn't bad enough. He gets decleated. Hi.
He was into a fetal position there.
Just like, leave me alone. All right, let me just.
Wow.
He's got to regroup. I mean, it's still a long game here for the young guy.
Can't have a worse first quarter as a kicker than that. And UCF, after spotting Cincy a 6-0 lead, and now up 14-6, and McClellan is hammered hard in the return short of the 15-yard line. And now Ritter has to answer. They feed Warren. He's got a crease, and he's in the loose, and it was a pre-snap adjustment that opened the door for him there.
Yeah, the safety, Gibson, ended up cheating down late and actually took himself out of the play. And by him coming down like that, watch, he's right here, he starts to cheat, and he ends up blitzing. They're trying to account for that running game, but watch him take himself completely out of the play and allows Warren to get underneath him and pick up all that grass. Big yards.
Ritter rolls and slides down, still takes a big hit high by Causey.
Yeah, Causey hit him, but he also got hit from behind there. Looked like by number 12 there, maybe it was Mitchell. Watch that hit right there. That was the big hit. Causey hits him. That's fine, but this hit right there.
It's a defenseless position the quarterback's in when he begins the slide. No flag. Picked up 6 and is now chased. Ritter fires incomplete. UCF is accomplishing what they want to get him to roll to his left, where he's not as effective.
Yeah, they right now are doing a good job of just winning at the line of scrimmage and getting him to flush him out of the pocket or get their hands up and affect him and from trying to throw the football. Hill that time just kind of got a push right up the middle of that offensive line.
UC just trying to weather this frenzy here, this push by the Knights. They need 4 to keep this drive alive. Ritter's missed his last 4 passes. Pressure again. Steps up, hit as he throws, incomplete. Brendan Hayes is whipping the O-line.
Yeah, their only chance to throw the ball when you know they're going to throw is he's got to get the ball out of his hands quick, or he's got to be able to get out of the pocket. I'm surprised they didn't make a call on that. The possibility of a horse collar.
Man, he took a swing at his head with the right arm and missed. Otis Anderson back as a returner at the 20. UCF typically doesn't go after punts. They don't get too adventurous on the punt return. They're very content to just let their offense take over and do its thing. Man, can he kick it. Drives the returner back to the 6-yard line and trying to get the edge. Anderson, that's a nice return, spun around and dropped at the 22-yard line. Flag again.
Yeah, blocking the back there late.
Just a couple days ago, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center Thursday afternoon, carrying a communications satellite. It's due east of the stadium, about 39 miles through the pine forests. And it's exactly the same latitude as the 50-yard line of the stadium. A lot of grads of UCF work in the aerospace industry in the Mission Control Center. So first down throw, and a catch by Killens out of the backfield, and came very close to breaking it long before Wiggins corrals him.
Well, they got away with a pick here. This one was actually pretty physical by Marlon Williams. And the reason we have a Cincinnati player down is the linebacker right here. Watch this. Boom. Lowers his shoulder. I mean, he didn't try to hide and use it like a rub route. He actually lowered his shoulder and made a block there against White.
Got a few backups now in for this BearCats defense as the Knights go to work first down. And Killens, he's a guy that they're not afraid to run him in between the guards there at 160 pounds.
No. I mean, it's something you have to make sure that the linebackers and defense are aware that you have in your repertoire.
He's much better in space, but he doesn't mind mixing it up a little bit.
It's good to see a couple of those BearCats running out onto the field. The guys that were knocked out, White, Broughton, both checking back into the game.
Crowd booing, but they were allowed to make that substitute because the Knights changed personnel. 2nd and 8, Milton wanted to go downfield, just checks it down. And Killens able to squirt into BearCats territory for another first down.
Remember, we talked Cincinnati felt that we have to stop their ability to run the ball, and UCF has said no problem. We're going to throw the ball for big yards tonight.
1st and 15. Milton keeps it, and he'll get about 3 yards back. Yeah, they average 7 inches more passing than running, 0.2 yards. They've got to work on that balance.
That balance, a remarkable 271, 271.
7 inches difference.
Yeah.
Milton from the pocket, zips it across the middle, and a catch is made right at the marker by Snelson. He's been busy tonight. 4-star recruit out of Miami.
Yeah, they put you out in space with these formations, and if you look at their wide receivers before the snap, all the way sideline to sideline.
Defense barely set. Milton takes it downfield, shot to the corner, and it's incomplete. Trey Nixon was close to a catch. Jeffries in coverage.
The great thing about using formations like this is it forces the defense to kind of dictate what their coverage is. And this one-on-one. This is just good against good. Nixon at 6'2", a nice route, used his speed to get behind the corner. Just unable to connect there with Milton.
Ball was fading a bit just off his fingertips.
But I mean, look at these wide receivers. There's a wide receiver way up there and way down here.
Milton blitzed, gets it out, and threw it over the head of Otis Anderson, who was streaking on a slant.
And what that does when you have all that separation is look at all the space that's back here. And you're on an island. You got a safety in the middle of the field, and that's it.
That's a miss by Mackenzie. He wants that back. That was a touchdown. 3rd and 10. McCray motions out. And Milton, another shot downfield. Catch made. Nixon, touchdown. Come close the first time. Kirk, just try it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Had 3 receivers down at the bottom. There's all that space, one-on-one. Trey Nixon doing a good job of being able to get that separation. A little bit of contact there early on the route, but just able to pull away with that speed.
You beat Noah Hamlin, a backup corner, for a 36-yard touchdown on 3rd down. And Matthew Wright extends the lead. 21-6 for the Knights. End of the first half in Orlando. Capital One halftime report is coming up right after these messages. 21-6 is the score. Knights will get the football to begin the third quarter. Welcome back. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Maria Taylor. And the CFP National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. The 41st campus this is visited. And you know what UCF fans are saying? Just give us a chance to be in the conversation, to get in the bracket, to have a chance to play for this. What do you think of the first half?
First half's been a lot of fun, and Cincinnati had a few opportunities to make this game a little bit closer. Special teams obviously not working out for them, and UCF gets the ball to start the second half. You just have the feeling that Cincinnati, if they're going to stay in the game, needs a stop, or UCF could pull away and it could potentially get out of hand.
Crowds get the cell phone flashlights jumping around, showing the energy they brought all night. And the crowd noise and the atmosphere has been a factor against this UC offense. It's a pooch kick, very short, and the fair catch made at the 32-yard line. And now trying to stretch the lead here, and this is McCray busting loose, and McCray out near midfield. Back-to-back 100-yard games for the sophomore from Miami coming in. He's been the hot hand lately. Running game didn't do much in the first half. And Milton slings it near side to Davis. Lost the football. And it's recovered by McCray back at the 49.
Yeah, that's about one way you can hope to try to slow down this offense is ball comes out of the hands there. These two receivers on the outside, Davis and Nixon. Big, tall, rangy, powerful receivers.
McCray slammed down after a short gain. It'll be third down.
They really have everything you're looking for when you run this style of offense. The taller receivers on the outside, 16 and 13. The much quicker, fast receivers at the slot. Right now, you see Otis Anderson out there, who's undersized but very dynamic, along with Snelson, number 5. Tough to match up with all that. And then you got Mackenzie Milton, who can get into a rhythm at any moment.
Milton averaging 22 yards on his 10 completions in the first half. Needs 5 on third down. And an errant throw. Anderson was wide open, ball deflected.
Yeah, he had him wide open and kind of fell off of that throw a little bit. And I just think it's another miscommunication. We saw a few of those in the first half with Milton and some of his receivers.
You saw the expression on Heupel's face. He fully expected Milton to take that offense down the field and add to this lead.
He sure did. And you could see Milton kind of moving his hand, indicating that he thought Anderson was going to work a little bit further upfield. But they missed an opportunity there to convert.
There's Loudermilk to see if he can dump it down there and give us one of those sandwich celebrations. Not a real good kick. It's gone off the side of his foot. It wasn't a fair catch scheduled by Knight, but he's dropped by the Knights coverage team. Maria, what did you learn at halftime?
Well, Chris, I was able to spend some time with both coaches, and Josh Heupel says he definitely wants to get that run game going. He feels as though they didn't go to it enough in the first half, and you can kind of see it a little bit with McCray during that first possession. For Cincinnati, though, Coach Fickell's saying you have to take your shots if you want to take down the champion, so they hope to be a little more aggressive on offense. But some bad news on their defensive end. Tyrell Gilbert is out for the rest of the game. It's a groin injury.
That's a tough loss. Maria, we saw when he went out, Hamlin, 24, the freshman, came in, and they went right after him for a big touchdown to Trey Nixon.
Maria mentioned the downfield shots. Ritter just 84 yards passing on his 7 completions in the first half. And they feed Warren, who's knocked down for 4. Not an offense that's built for big comebacks on the road.
Now they need to stay within striking distance. So with that in mind, it's a kind of a big drive for them. The fact their defense is able to get Milton off the field, their offense back on the field, that's a win for Cincinnati. Now we'll see what they do with this possession. They had a more aggressive mindset early when this game first started, almost like they're out to prove people wrong. And they lost that midway through the first quarter and haven't been able to get that attitude back.
And they feed Warren again. He's knocked down a yard short of the marker by Wooten. He did trail UCLA very early, a couple of fumbles, and they rallied. Ohio U was a tremendous comeback. They had to make some defensive stops at the goal line to preserve that victory. And then there was Wiggins with a big play in overtime.
And when you ask Luke Fickell what's the strength of his team, he talks about the grit. And those are examples of where they've kind of learned how to become a gritty team and believe in each other. It's a whole different animal tonight against UCF in this atmosphere.
3 tight end look on 3rd and 1. No, Warren's going to get it. He's a guy that's got 6 one-yard touchdown runs in the season and 2 from 2 yards out. I mean, it's very predictable, but still tough to stop.
It is. You know it's coming, but when he gets going, you know, he and this offense, I think, create a confidence in that power running game. Reminds me of an old back that used to play at Tennessee by the name of Travis Henry. That kind of body and that kind of makeup is his running style.
And Warren, like Henry, he can get out and go. He does have a couple long touchdown runs this season as well.
They're tightening things up here at the line of scrimmage with that press coverage.
Ritter takes a shot, and it's over the head. Rashad Medeiros is a guy that loves to take those one-on-one battles downfield and win them, but that wasn't a good throw.
No, Medeiros is matched up here with Causey, who's got some good size, is running with him pretty good. That would have taken a perfectly thrown football that time by the freshman Ritter to have much of a chance at all.
You said their downfield shots feel like prayers.
Yeah, they're not winning. They're not winning and making it easier for Ritter. And when you play this kind of defense in this environment, you can't just keep banging in there with Warren. They need some explosives. They've got to find a way to hit some big plays.
McClellan, the speedy back, is to the left of Ritter on 2nd and 10. Nice splits, ball on the ground, and UCF's got it. Joey Connors with the fumble recovery.
So you've seen Warren, we've seen Warren. McClellan as a true freshman, it's just a different feel. Ball came in there, it looked like a little bit high to McClellan. He's able to handle the snap. See the handoff up high, actually into the face mask there, and that's what knocked the ball out, knocked it loose.
And Connors quickly pounces on it. Remember, he had a blocked field goal earlier. Now a fumble recovery. UCF back in business. They keep saying, we want Bama, we want Bama. They're going to get Bama. They got them in that building in basketball
right.
in a couple of weeks.
Love it.
How many times can UC come up with a stop and keep this lead at 15? You just feel like the Knights are about ready to explode. Milton on a slant. Otis Anderson takes a big hit. And Maria is with Mackenzie Milton's mother.
I am. I'm with Teresa Milton, and she's moved from Hawaii to Orlando to be with her son. Now, talk to me about the competitive edge that he has because he's the youngest of 4 boys.
Well, that's because when you're the youngest, like, they're rough on you, and he just is like a gamer.
What have you noticed about him over the course of the last couple of years?
How he matured, and he thinks about everyone but himself, and he never lets his competitive edge go, and he never gives up. He believes in his team.
And I also noticed that you guys have the Hawaiian flag here, so you take it with you wherever you go. You have 20 fans here for Mackenzie. What is that family-like atmosphere like for him?
There's nothing like Hawaii. Can I tell you something? In Florida, I have embraced everyone here like Hawaii embraced our family. 30 years ago, we moved there. Gave birth to 4 boys there. My boys just know that, Ohana! Tell them what Ohana is! Look at it!
And her son is going to be chased and sacked.
Ohana means no one's left behind, ever.
And this entire group right here, guys, is screaming Ohana behind them, and that is Mackenzie's family. There are about 20 of them here to support him, and they travel as much as they can to support one of Hawaii's sons.
That's great stuff, Maria. You've got a great spirit. I mean, you talked to Mackenzie about being roughed up by 3 older brothers. All of them are 2 years apart. You can relate in your family. Your youngest son, Chase.
Yeah, he gets roughed up. Yeah,
he'll be the best of the bunch before it's over.
What an advantage.
Mackenzie said he can now beat his brothers in everything. Basketball, golf, he runs the show. Flips it short. Killens breaking free. They're not going to catch him. The explosion you expect from UCF. Touchdown. Ohana. They left everybody behind with that run.
They make sure he got in. The ball breaks the plane, gets across there before he goes out of bounds.
Aggressive pylon cam. Where was the ball when his foot hits the pylon? Because that puts him out. You won't be able to tell from that low angle, but you could extrapolate from it. Maybe the ball did break the plane. Better look here. So well, they're not going to stop it. They're apparently satisfied it was a touchdown. And there's PAT.
This is vintage Mackenzie Milton right here.
42 yards. Touchdown. Kirk, the BearCats defense could only hold on for song. You sensed it. And with their third possession in the third quarter, second touchdown for Killens, and the lead is 22.
Yeah, you just can't let 9 get out in space when he's got the ball in his hands. It's just too tough to leverage that football, and he gets one-on-one, and you're not going to make a play on him.
Mackenzie Milton doing his thing, approaching another 300-yard game. McClelland knocked down short of the 25.
Cincinnati was actually playing zone. You're going to see Snelson work in here, and when he does, it actually attracts 2 of the UC defenders. When they move him into the inside right here, now you've got a defensive end out here, and Michael Pitts trying to stay with a fleet-footed running back. Very tough matchup. Then he makes the defensive back Noah Hamlin miss. And Killens is one of the more gifted running backs with his speed, 10-200 speed that there is in the country. And I love that little flip by Milton.
Perfect time for Teresa. That's a fun crowd. Nobody's had more fun in Orlando than that section.
No.
And this is a party here. They do a great job creating a party environment for the students and the fans. She didn't mention, but Mackenzie was a youth football teammate of Tua Tagovailoa's. Warren, who's had a couple series of breather, he's been banged around pretty good tonight back in, but Kyle Gibson stuffed him.
And Randy Shannon at this point with a comfortable lead is just thinking, hey, let's keep everything in front of us. Let's not let these backs get behind us. Randy Shannon made a name for himself with the Miami Hurricanes as an assistant coach, a coordinator, even a head coach.
He's a guy that stays calm, and there have been opportunities with this UCF defense reeling in the first half. Temple had 445 yards and 34 points in the first half against him. Shannon never loses his cool. Very calm, makes his adjustments, and this defense has really been much better after halftime. Warren continues to pound away, and it'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, those 2 safeties, they don't fear that the ball getting thrown over their heads at all. I mean, Grant and Gibson both, 27 and 25, are just, as soon as Ritter puts the ball out there, they're flying down. So you're essentially facing a 9-man, 8- and 9-man front.
And the truck, he's getting a lot of collisions, and the damage is piling up. Warren leaving the game. This would normally be his ball on 3rd and 2. Davion Thomas, the 235-pound freshman, is in there. Ritter looking to throw, and it's caught for a first down. In the Knights' territory is Lewis.
Heck of a catch here by Lewis. They give Ritter just enough time. It's kind of a quick slant, kind of a skinny post there. He puts it up high where Lewis can make a play. Does a nice job going up there. That's a tough matchup against Clark.
A must-score possession for Cincinnati, you feel? A very short gain by Thomas. Must score, and it would help if they could do it quickly.
That's the thing with UCF's offense is you have to stay within striking distance because they score so fast and have so much potential. You get down by 22 and you into the 4th quarter, and really hard to catch up to them.
Here comes the pressure again, and Ritter's going to be dropped. It's another sack by Titus Davis. Monster night.
I mean, when you talk about effort by Titus Davis, first of all, he's right here. Watch how he works, and then watch how he doesn't give up on the play. The big tight end's actually holding, and he just kind of, as he's falling backwards, he just throws his right arm out, and that was enough to just be able to get shoestring there of Ritter and bring him down. That is relentless effort.
That is sack with his back, his neck.
Yeah, it's like he threw his backhand at him.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter.
3 sacks tonight for Davis.
Working against that left tackle. Out of the starting blocks. Ritter flush to his right. It's a long way to run for a first down. He takes a big shot. No sliding there. But Jasinski hammers him. It's fourth down, and the ball.
I think that ball came out. I don't know if he got it back, but that initial contact, that ball definitely came out. That was a serious collision.
It's in the hands of Bam Moore. Flags come out at the end of the play. And the quarterback made a decision not to slide, and he paid a price.
I'm just glad he got up.
There's still flags being thrown, tempers flaring along the near sideline. It was the receiver Khalil Lewis involved with some Knights players.
Watch this hit. Watch the ball pop out right at the collision. Oh my gosh, that's a heavy hit by the linebacker. Looks like his right arm got around the football, though, as he's laying there.
I don't know how he had the presence of mind.
I don't either.
Look for the ball.
I don't either. Boom.
I mean,
you're right. He wasn't thinking of sliding. He was trying to pick up that first down.
There are other dudes I would pick to run into on this defense besides Jasinski, though.
Ruling on the field, the runner was stopped short of the line to gain. After the play, we have 2 unsportsmanlike fouls on the offense. Number 74 for pulling the player off the pile. And after the play, unsportsmanlike foul on Cincinnati as well. Both those fouls will be enforced. It'll be fourth down.
It'll be fourth down and a mile now rather than fourth and short. A pair of penalties.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. The offensive player fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by UCF. The UCF's ball. The 2 fouls for unsportsmanlike conduct on number 75 and number 1 of Cincinnati will still be enforced. 30 yards, and that is the first unsportsmanlike foul for each player.
Well, I'm surprised at the ruling. We'll bring in Dave Kataya. From our angles, it sure looked like Ritter had his hand on the football while he was down. Having that long review day, they've changed it.
Well, what I'm seeing here is to me, there's no clear recovery of the ball, which means you have to stay on the call in the field. I don't see anything here that is clear to reverse this call.
I mean, if he's down on the ground and has his hand on the ball.
Had the ball.
And he's got a big pile up there, too.
I mean, eventually UCF came out of it. Okay, the ball's loose. He's on the ground, and then right here,
he pulls it in.
Secures the ball in his hand. I mean, there's a bunch of arm. Jasinski's got his big left arm, and they're trying to pry it loose. And after the
eventually, they're going to rip it out of there.
Right there, there is no clear recovery. You see 2 opponents over the ball. When there's no clear recovery, you have to go with a call on the field.
So UCF gets the football back. Anderson with the carry. And Cincinnati's last 4 possessions, Kirk, have been 3 fumbles and a turnover on downs. Not a team that does well in the turnover category. UCF's going to win that category for an 11th straight game.
Yeah, they're one of the best in the country at the turnover margin. In fact, plus 14 coming into tonight.
Explosive offense, hard knocking defense for the Knights tonight. They lead it after 3, 28-6. Final quarter from Orlando coming up. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. This Bounce House Brigade engineering student there. Excellent creativity.
Hey, that's a very good effort.
Excellent signs this morning on game day out there.
World record.
Did you survive?
Yeah.
They had a little fun with it.
It was good.
Let's begin the fourth quarter. Chewing on the clock with McCray. 3 more touchdown passes tonight. Also ran for a touchdown. Besides having those 3 older brothers that roughed them up and toughened them up, Mackenzie was talking about the football culture in Hawaii, a very physical brand of football. As a young guy, a smaller guy, he was given no mercy. He was banged up, roughed around by much older, bigger players. He said you had to earn your respect.
That's great.
Once you're in the family, the brotherhood, they love you. They'll do anything for you, but you got to earn your way in, huh?
If you survive that, you're obviously much better for it. Makes him the player that he is today.
Gray is the back on 3rd and 5. And Milton looking to throw, and now scramble. He's got room in front, and he's got the first down, and he's into the red zone. Hurts you a lot of ways. There's the Milton brothers, again, the youngest of 4. 2 years apart, all of them. 2-on-2 football, tackle football in the front yard.
Yeah, I can, like you said, I can totally relate having 4 boys of my own. The youngest guy gets roughed up the most and ends up being rewarded for it down the road, just like Mackenzie.
Play action. And the touchdown. Oh, off the fingertips. Galubiali had it in his hands. An easy catch. Couldn't hold on.
Boy, they snuck Galubiali right behind the coverage, behind the linebacker White. I mean, it's perfectly designed. And he has great hands. It's just one of those plays where the ball, you know, I don't know if he started to get just too excited about having a touchdown. Yeah.
He's made so many tough catches in traffic.
It's like the ground ball that's hit right to you is sometimes tougher than going and making a play in the hole.
The whole crowd just groaned when they showed the replay on the screen. McCray cuts it back, knocked down near the marker at the 9 by White.
You know, the depth of this backfield, you think of Adrian Killens when you think of their backfield, but we've seen Greg McCray the last couple of weeks step up, and he actually leads them in rushing. McGowan can get in there. Otis Anderson. 4 different backs can run the football, and they all bring something a little bit different to the table.
As you said, it was the pass game to set up the run. Not the typical balance this offense shows. Only 58 yards on the ground.
Yeah, talking about an offense averaging 271 running and throwing.
McCray cuts it back and is knocked down, but not before crossing the plane. And the lights. White lights for this team tonight, and they have seized it. Hit 30 points for a 23rd consecutive game. UCF has blown it open. Wazoo just keeps rolling along, and so does UCF. Need now 29 here early fourth quarter, and the party shows no signs of letting up. Knights. I'll leave it right there. Fair catch made. Well, Dabo Sweeney had fun with this. He said that it's Alabama driving the lead bus, and then it's the Roy bus for rest of y'all.
Oh, no,
Chase the tide. Dabo's driving the bus. They should have their own bus.
He needs to get into Nick Saban's bus.
UCF logo in the back end of the bus, needing some upsets in front of them.
They need a little bit of help.
And they can ceiling, get in the top 10 this week.
I don't know if it's necessarily about them as a team, and it's more about them as their resume with the strength of schedule and who they have played. But as a team, well, you could make a strong case for them.
Ritter fires wide open as Lewis, who battles hard and gets a first down across the 44.
And outside of those really top 3 or 4 teams as we sit here right now with Alabama and Clemson and Notre Dame and Michigan, after that, you could put UCF on the field, any of those teams that are from 5 down to 10, and on a neutral field, they'd have a chance to compete with them.
Ritter complete. And Lewis trying to escape. Now Mackenzie Milton, some of the frustration as Lewis appears to be hurt over there. Frustration of being overlooked, and he feels undervalued, kind of came forward. He's not a guy that really pops off often, as Lewis appears to be in a lot of pain. Well, we'll continue that thought after this break as they look at the top receiver on this BearCats team. Khalil Lewis helped off. I'm talking about Mackenzie Milton's comments this week about one of the rare apples to apples comparisons between the Knights and the teams that are in the playoff mix. Both UCF and Notre Dame played Pittsburgh 2 weeks apart, late September, early October. 2nd and 1 for this BearCats offense. McClelland is the back. And McClellan breaks free, runs hard, gets a first down, and this is what Milton had to say. We looked at both of these games terms of our prep, you look at the Pitt film against us and Notre Dame, you can't tell me Notre Dame is a better team than us. Notre Dame scored late to beat Pitt. He's right. And you hear the committee talk about how it was great for them to pull it out. Well, we did to Pitt, which was dominate them, rout them here 45-14, outgain them by about 300 yards. Notre Dame had to score a winning touchdown at home 2 weeks later in the final 6 minutes to win the game.
And I don't know why UCF wouldn't be able to be in the mix with those teams.
Ritter spun around and dropped for a loss. Ritter escapes. Hey, this time
he's like, where's 56? He's like, where's 5'6"?
That time he chose to slide. SEC with 6 teams in the CFP rankings. American with 2.
You would think more practically, Chris, UCF probably ends up outside of the top 4 unless there's total chaos up above them. And then somebody's going to get the short straw and have to play these guys in one of those New Year's 6 bowl games.
Auburn found out that was no fun.
Yep.
3rd and 3. And first down and more for Thomas. Big freshman still rumbling, diving, knocked out short of the goal line.
Just want to make sure he didn't throw that football into the end zone. I'm sure he had possession of that as he went out of bounds. I really like this guy. Got some size at 6'2", 235 pounds. Shows some acceleration.
And he did lunge for the pylon. The ball came out of his hands. And that could have buzzed down. Cincinnati's got the football running a play, so no chance to review it now. And Thomas just barrels down near the goal line. Still no signal. Yeah, touchdown.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as they continue to play these last few games and into their postseason, as a true freshman, he'll get more and more carries to go along with McClellan and Warren. Good looking back.
Jared Dokes, their leading rusher from a year ago, he has a sports hernia injury that required surgery. He hasn't played at all this season. It's still a pretty deep running back core here. Tavian Thomas, his 5th touchdown. Cole Smith's had that rugged night and is able to knock one through the uprights. 9:22 to play. UCF's lead is 22. It's a massive campus, 68,000. They not have fun. This is the UCF Spirit Splash. Guy in the right there.
Big fella.
Get out of his way. Josh Heupel there hyping the crowd up. It's kind of a homecoming event. They brought that spirit to the game day set this morning. Huge turnout.
It's great.
And the bounce house is, in fact, bouncing. So much for that beverage. Students spread at both ends of this field, made noise, enjoyed themselves. It's the home finale. Many of these folks will head down to Tampa and try to take over the stadium of the USF Bulls. It's a Friday night game. On the other side of the American Conference, Houston and Memphis will square off for the right to play UCF in the championship game. Houston lost their quarterback, which is a tough thing. King injured out for the year. And the fair catch. If it is Memphis that comes through that game, Memphis and UCF played a thriller, a 1-point victory by the Knights. So UCF back to work. Defense giving up the first points tonight. It was a sack of Milton on the Knights' first offensive play that produced the only Cincinnati points until that score. McGowan knocked down. He's a guy who's had he's become kind of semi-famous for doing nothing. The starer. He was at game day.
He was. He doesn't have to say anything. He just looks at people. People coming over, they want to take
animated that he's been.
Look at that. Can I have my picture? He's like, yeah, I'll give you a smirk.
Everybody can be famous for something. He's working it, though. Get a phone number or something out of it. 2nd and 3. McGowan again picks his way for a first down. Well, we saw Ritter get out to a really impressive start. Milton struggled early, but the Pacific Life game summary shows that Milton has turned that around. Not monster numbers. Did run for a touchdown.
3 touchdown passes, ran one in, and not his typical dominant night, but I think, you know, UC's defense has had something to do with that. They came in with an aggressive attack, an aggressive group that's had a pretty good year for them. In fact, for them to get to 9-1, I think their defense in his second year under Luke Fickell and Marcus Freeman, you know, they do a pretty good job of trying to challenge every inch of this field, and UCF has found ways to make them pay for it.
McGowan's getting loose and busting down to the 40-yard line. Fresh legs as they rotate in backs.
Yeah, and he's known as the power back at 210 pounds. Very strong this time. He just has room to run. Nice blocking up front. Opened that up for him, and instead of after a first down immediately at the line of scrimmage, we're actually able to get a replay in because they have slowed things down considerably now, trying to work that game clock.
You got a tired defense that had a bunch of guys beating them getting out of the game, and you got a guy like McGowan come in. That was just his 5th carry. He says, let me have the rock. And he's operating in a different gear. 2-back look. Speaking of different gears, Killens is in the game. He scored a couple touchdowns tonight, trying to get loose again. Finds a crease and cuts back. He'll be caught from behind, but a nice run down near the 20.
How about his vision and then lateral quickness? 164 pounds, just patiently waiting because he accelerates so quickly that he trusts that speed, and he's just kind of moving laterally, waiting patiently, and then boom, he hits that crease. He's one of those guys, every time he touches the ball, if you're defending him, you're holding your breath, hoping that you can leverage him to try to slow him down. One guy can't make a play on him.
I like how you pointed out his instincts. And even though he's a little dude, holds onto the ball, hasn't fumbled at all this season. Still a 2-back look. And Milton was looking to pitch. It just wasn't there, so he just gets down.
Yeah, they defended that very well. Clements actually took the quarterback there and had another safety that was able to stay out on the pitch man. That was Wiggins. Good discipline that time by the Bearcats. Not very often you hear a single clap at a Saturday night game.
The students are still here. Some of the other folks have decided that maybe it's a good idea to beat the traffic.
Do you want to get some of that little clap up here?
2nd and 13. McGowan running right. And it'll be brought down at the 15. It'll be 3rd down. Content to run the play clock down, milk this lead, and run the win streak to 23. Milton scrambling away and slings it along the sidelines, almost intercepted. James Wiggins was over in the neighborhood.
I think he caught the ball. Yeah, just out of bounds. Really athletic safety. He just couldn't get the right foot down. But
sidearm delivery.
Yeah. Good, very good athlete.
Wiggins is a guy.
That right foot, that boy just missed it.
He's a dude that made that walk-off interception in overtime to beat SMU. Made an interception on the pylon against Ohio University, the big comeback. Without his 2 plays, they're not in contention for the division coming into this game. Right from 33. An angle, knocks it right through. Big edge in the kicking game tonight for UCF, and they stretch the lead 38-13. The Stair guys clapping. So late in the season, short week, never easy. As McClellan is taking some big hits tonight as a returner, is stopped short of the 20. Swing. Now, the hair transformation is interesting. George O'Leary, when he was coach here, allowed no facial hair and no hair below the collar. But O'Leary moved on, and old Loudermilk hadn't had a haircut since. Somebody tweeted out, I don't know if you appreciate that, but it's kind of like the development of man kind of in reverse. That transformation. You with me?
Yeah. You approve of the look? You like it?
I don't care. You can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's a good punter.
Yeah, Maria was out playing golf with him. He's a fun guy.
Maria, you just spent a morning with Mr. Loudermilk on the golf course.
Yeah, and I still can't hit a golf ball to save my life. And
No, your form, we got to talk about your technique.
I look like Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an athlete, too.
I know.
Charles on the golf course is not who you want to emulate, Maria. But this guy,
he's a character.
Yeah.
He is a character, I tell you.
Characters are good. We like characters. As long as you do your job. Thomas spinning free, and the young guy making use of some playing time late in this game to show what he can do.
Yeah, young fella looking for some future reps. Looking good running the football tonight. I like how hard he runs.
But this Knights defense will for many be a pleasant surprise. They match up better against this kind of an offense, the kind of offense that Pitt brought against them, than they do kind of the
grind
powered spread
be
teams.
Physical. Well, I think that's why the Memphis potential matchup could be good in the championship game if Memphis is able to win.
Thomas, he shows some wiggle for a big man.
He really does.
And that should be it. So on this national stage, with all the buzz and all the buildup and the bright lights, Game Day's presence this morning on senior night, guys like Jasinski there, Titus Davis, a sweet and satisfying victory as the winning streak, longest in the country, reaches 23, a 25-point victory over the toughest, or at least highest rated conference opponent they faced this season. It's fun tonight. And they have clinched the AAC East Division one more time. Will defend their conference title against the winner of that Houston-Memphis game, but not before they take on the Bulls down the road in Tampa on Friday over on ESPN.
Consecutive conference championship game in 2 weeks.
Still perfect and a satisfying night for the defensive side of the ball. Meanwhile, Maria's standing by with the quarterback.
All right, Mackenzie, you came into this game and you said you guys have plenty to prove. What do you think you showed tonight on this field?
You know, a lot of talk's been about our defense. They only got one offensive touchdown during the game. They played their butts off. You know, we beat a good football team tonight, and we clinched our side of the division. We're going to play in another conference championship, so it is what it is.
The eyes of the college football world are on you guys. You are the primetime game. College Game Day came to your city Saturday morning. State your case to the committee right now and why you belong.
I think we show week in and week out why we belong. All we can focus on is going 1-0. I'm just proud of our guys. Cincinnati played a hell of a game. It was just a good ball game.
We talked to your mom up in the stands, and the one word I came away with was Ohana. And that's the family that binds you together. How does that affect the way that you play and the person that you are on this field?
Yeah, all the guys on the team, they're my brothers. You know, I play for the name on the back of my jersey. Carry it with pride. I'm just proud of my guys.
Thanks for your time, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
We're up at the 808, the area code in Hawaii. Very proud of that, as he should be.
Very, very poised leader for this team.
Good team effort, all three phases tonight for the Knights.
Yep. Complimentary football.
Final 38-13. UCF still unbeaten, still a thorn in the side of the establishment, still trying to make their case. Game produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley. We thank our entire talented crew in Orlando. We'll see you next Saturday night at the Coliseum, Southern California, against Notre Dame. Arizona and Washington State in action over on ESPN. The Ford Wrap-Up Show. Let's go to Matt Berry.